abandoned asylums, decommissioned prisons, crumbling buildings sealed by court order. You can read about them, watch documentaries about them, but you cannot sleep there. These 10 hotels are different. Everyone is open and bookable tonight. They also carry histories so dark and reputations so persistent that guests have been checking in looking for something beyond a comfortable bed for generations. Some of them found it. Subscribe if you're new here. Let's check in. Number 10. The Stanley Hotel, Estes Park, Colorado. The Stanley opened in 1909 in the Colorado Rockies, a stunning white building against the mountains. It is also the hotel that inspired The Shining. Stephen King stayed in room 217 in 1974, found it unsettling, and went home and wrote the novel. That legacy is now their entire marketing engine. But the hauntings predate King. Guests consistently report children's sounds on the 4th floor, running footsteps, laughter, a bouncing ball, in a corridor that is empty when they open the door to check. That report has come from guests for decades, from people with no knowledge of previous sightings before making their own. Number 9. The Langham, London, England. The Langham opened in 1865 and was one of the most advanced hotels in Europe at the time. It has hosted royalty, Mark Twain, and Arthur Conan Doyle. It is still one of London's finest 5-star properties. Room 333 is the problem. A Victorian-era doctor in period dress has been seen by multiple guests across multiple decades, none of whom knew about previous reports when they came forward with their own. A BBC journalist in the 1970s woke to find a glowing figure in the corner of that room. His account became one of the most cited in British paranormal literature. The Langham handles all of this with the restrained discomfort of an expensive establishment that would genuinely prefer not to discuss it. Somehow that makes the reports more credible. Not less. Number 8. Fairmont Banff Springs, Banff, Alberta. Built in 1888 by the Canadian Pacific Railway in the middle of the Rockies, the Fairmont Banff Springs looks like a castle that was dropped from the sky. Because in a sense it was, constructed before the roads to reach it fully existed. The hotel's most persistent ghost is Sam the Bellman, a former employee who reportedly loved his job so much that he never left. Guests report a formally dressed man assisting with luggage who cannot be located when followed up on. There is also room 873, a room allegedly sealed permanently after a murder, its number absent from the floor directory. Former staff say it exists behind the wall. The hotel neither confirms nor denies it. Number 7. The Queen Mary, Long Beach, California. The Queen Mary has been permanently docked in Long Beach since 1967. But it spent decades at sea, and in those decades it accumulated a death toll significant enough to generate one of the most active paranormal reputations of any vessel in history. In 1942, during wartime service, it accidentally collided with its own escort ship, killing over 300 sailors. The Queen Mary did not stop. Halting in enemy waters would have endangered thousands of troops on board. The right military call. A decision that weighed on the people who were there for the rest of their lives. Room B340, near the bow, generated so many reported incidents the hotel stopped booking it for years. It has since reopened. It is their most requested room. Number 6. The Myrtles Plantation, St. Francisville, Louisiana. Built in 1796 on land believed to sit over a Tunica burial ground, the Myrtles operated as a working plantation with the full weight of violence that designation carried. At least 10 people died here under documented circumstances. The most famous figure is Chloe, an enslaved woman who, according to legend, poisoned a birthday cake intended for the plantation family, killing 2 children, and was executed. Historians have questioned whether Chloe was real or a story built over time. What is not in question is the history of the land. Guests who report seeing a woman in a green turban in the hallways are encountering something, even if it is simply the weight of that history refusing to stay buried. Number 5. Hotel del Coronado, San Diego, California. The Hotel del Coronado opened in 1888 and has hosted every American president since. In November 1892, a young woman named Kate Morgan checked in alone and was found dead on the hotel's beach steps 5 days later. Gunshot wound to the head. The gun found nearby did not match the bullet that killed her. The case was ruled a suicide. Nobody was charged. Kate Morgan has been the hotel's most reported ghost ever since. Room 3327, her original room, is their most booked. Guests report flickering lights, televisions switching on at night, and a feeling of sadness concentrated in the corridor near her room. The hotel sells a book about her and has made her, with characteristic California pragmatism, part of the experience. Number 4. The Driscoll, Austin, Texas. The Driscoll opened in 1886, built by cattle baron Jesse Driscoll, who lost it in a poker game within 2 years and died soon after. Broke, and still in love with a building that was no longer his. Staff and guests have reported a heavy-set man in period clothing in the lobby matching historical photographs of Driscoll himself. 2 brides died here, on separate honeymoons. One in 1887, one in 1990. The 1990 death is in local news records. It is not legend. Both have reportedly been seen on the upper floors. The bar downstairs is one of the best in Austin. Number 3. The Excelsior House, Jefferson, Texas. Opened since 1858. Ulysses S. Grant slept here. Oscar Wilde slept here. Jay Gould slept here, and, when locals rejected his railroad plans, cursed the town. Jefferson largely faded without the railway. The Diamond Bessie Room is named for a woman murdered near Jefferson in 1877. Shot, her jewelry stripped, left frozen in the woods. The trial was one of the most sensational in Texas history. Bessie has no confirmed connection to the Excelsior, but she has been connected to it in local memory for over a century. Guests report cold in that room, no amount of heating resolves, and a persistent feeling of being watched from the doorway. Number 2. The Ancient Ram Inn, Watton-under-Edge, England. Dating to 1145 AD, the Ancient Ram Inn operates as a bed and breakfast in a building that has never been meaningfully renovated. Original floors, low ceilings, no modern insulation. The owner purchased it in 1968 and has kept it as close to its original state as a building can be kept. During renovation work in the 1970s, what investigators described as evidence of child sacrifice was found beneath the foundation. A well predating the structure itself sits below the main bedroom. It has been investigated by more paranormal teams than almost any building in Britain. Whether or not you believe their findings, spending a night in a 900-year-old building in the English countryside will do something to you. Nobody who has stayed there has called it unremarkable. Number 1. Chateau Frontenac, Quebec City, Canada. The Chateau Frontenac is one of the most photographed hotels in the world. Turreted, copper-roofed, sitting on a cliff above the St. Lawrence River. It is also sitting on land where French colonial fortifications were built in the 1600s, where military engagements were fought, and where centuries of violent human history are buried beneath the foundation. The most consistently reported figure is a man in period dress seen in the older wing, the original section closest to the cliff. He appears, makes eye contact, and disappears into walls or around corners that lead nowhere. Seen by guests, by staff, and by at least one security officer who filed a written report and declined to elaborate further. One of the finest hotels in North America. Also, in the right wing on the right night, something else entirely. Every hotel on this list is open tonight. Whether what people experience in these buildings is genuine paranormal activity, the psychological weight of real history pressing on human perception, or simply the tendency to find meaning in old places at night, I cannot answer that for you. What I can say is that these places hold real histories. Real people lived and died in them. And buildings, it turns out, hold things longer than we expect. Subscribe. New video dropping soon. See you there.